In 1724, Johann Heinrich Schulze discovers that substances mixed with silver nitrate react to light. Sadly, the images fade soon after. Until one day in 1826, the world's first photograph is taken by Joseph Nicephore Niepce in France using a procedure called heliography. Voila! This exposure takes several days, and you can see the sun lights up both sides of the building. After his death, Niepce's partner Louis Daguerre continues his work and creates the first practical photographic process in 1833, the daguerreotype. In 1885, George Eastman, founder of Eastman Kodak, invents roll film. The first handheld camera, the Kodak, goes on sale in 1888. Light's employee Oscar Barnack builds the revolutionary 35mm Leica 1, which goes into production in 1925. The camera allows photographers to go mobile and capture the moment. Some of the most iconic images in history would later be taken on Leicas.
Here's the departure message for the down postal.
Right, thank you.
Okay.
Crew control, Houston Dillinger.
And the first digital image is created from a scan in 1957. However, digital cameras would only arrive a little later, in 1975, when Steve Sasson, a young engineer working for Eastman Kodak, invents the first digital camera. The digital revolution begins in the 90s. DSLRs, point-and-shoots. Photography had never been more accessible. Well, until the first mobile phone with a camera came out in 2000. Game changer. 15 years later, and modern smartphones now have insanely powerful cameras. In just seconds, we are able to capture every moment and share it online. Photography has become a global passion and has truly brought the world closer together.
But their enemy has other ideas.
I probably spoke to 100 POWs, all their families, and I can tell you when I first interviewed the survivors, I was the first
Your lawyer friend at 6:30 in the morning. My lawyer charges 10 times more than you do. I just don't get
10,
it.
12, 20 men who were on
Why
this route
is it
itself.
that Boaz is
Today, it's too late.
with these crazy dogs?
It's amazing, even
disturb
now,
me so
the great
much?
majority of people in the UK, and even Hong Kong,
Why should
have
that
no idea
job
what
my
happened on
memory?
the route.
Yeah,
It has
It is a
nothing to do
real
with me.
story.
Second youngest son. He's suggesting it came out of nowhere. What we subsequently learned is it may have come from the former president or his legal team acting in bad faith. This is a deepfake example of what is possible with powerful computer and editing. It took around 72 hours to create this example from scratch using extremely powerful GPU. It could be improved with more computing time, but 90% of people cannot tell the difference.
Give me the mag. Give me the mug, or I'll take it by force.
This morning. I just felt this huge jolt. Like I'd stepped on a live wire. Like I'd been electrocuted. Tom said, "Baby," and reached out for me, and then...
Whether an eternity passed in that moment or just a minute, Frankel was there, waltzing in the middle of the intersection, bullets ripping past him. And instead of making his way across the intersection,
更要命的是什么？我们传统的动画是每秒12帧，我们的电影是每秒24帧。就我们又想还原历史的那个场景，紧张战争、屠杀、开枪扫射、突围的紧张状态，我们得快速运动。可是这些人慢吞吞，像卡通一样的，完全跳戏。所以最后我们做了一个很大胆的决定，让人通通都不动，我们镜头动，我们的军舰、我们的船、我们的海水可以动，我们人不要动。我们找到了美军潜艇“鲈鱼号”的战时日志。月光太亮，鲈鱼号在离目标最近距离的射程上发生了3枚鱼雷，没有击中。
The animation is so... I mean, it refers so good to reality. I mean, who decides what is more true? I mean, if you would have seen my image on a screen, whatever screen it is, and it was a digital image or an analog image shot by a camera, it was still made by pixels, by dots and lines. It was not me sitting on the screen, right? And this is a drone image, so both of them use the same voice. So is it more true when it's pixelized than when it's drawn? I don't know. I don't think so.
then it hit me while riding in a taxi on the way to the Amsterdam airport.
Do you still remember the Battle of Hong Kong?
Oh, yeah.
So which part of Hong Kong you were?
Well, I was stationed in Pillbox 22 in Stanley. We had 4 machine guns and held them off. The Japanese.
You know, your memories could be an amazing thing. Take this experiment. A group of people was shown 10 random pictures from their childhood. 9 were really from their childhood, but 1 was fake. Their portrait was pasted into a fairground that they had never been to before. "80% recognized themselves. They specifically claimed the fake picture was real, and what's more, the remaining 20% said they couldn't remember. So the researchers asked them again. When asked the second time, they remembered the image. I had such a fantastic time in the park with my parents. They remembered an experience they never had. Memory is dynamic. It's alive. If we suddenly find some details missing, our memory helps us out by filling in the gaps with things that never happened.
States intervened in Laos, the Congo, Brazil.
There are so many theories about what happened in Iraq and why we really went in, but when you look at the history of the United States,
This is the Southern Corn Gulf. Deadliest place on Earth, the Corn Gulf.
She was an old freighter. She weighed about 7,000 tons. They brought it into the dock near Shamshu Boat. When we got a lighter, they took us out in a little lighter onto the boat itself. There was a gun on the foredeck, but we just marched on board and we were sent straight down into the hole.
The documentary mixed with animation is sort of becoming more prominent now. I mean, we never saw that before the last couple of years. I'm wondering, what appealed to you about like sort of meshing those two types of filmmaking together?
Just freedom, the freedom to do whatever you want to do. And I think that traditional documentary is really strict and defined by rules, if you ask me. And I was tired of those rules, and I was looking for a new way to tell a story.
我遇到最大的一个坑是什么？我从来没做过导演，我也没做过动画，我也没做过纪录片，不知道怎么做。因为什么你要做动画呢？如果我们在大荧幕只是访谈，那我们的眼球、我们的感受差得很远的。所以我们既然想用大荧幕来跟观众分享，你一定要把历史的场景还原。
登上里斯本湾之前，威廉姆和其他英联邦军人驻守香港。这些英国军人没想到，战争的厄运很快会降临到他们的头上。Jack 生前在帝国战争博物馆留下了他回忆里斯本湾的口述录音。
Jack Hewison, Reel 3.
Can you get through to the previous hole by moss on the bulkhead somehow and asking what the conditions like? We went to the bulkhead to the next hole and we sent moss. I sent the first lot.
What they did was they got the planks in position. And then they put canvas on top, and then they put wedges in.
They wanted the Allied prisoners to pump out the water from number 3 hole.
A small hand pump was lowered into our hold, and through a Japanese interpreter, we were informed that if we did not pump continuously, we would go down with the ship.
Mr. Kyoda, so you did feel the responsibility for their life and their safety while they were carried on your ship?
上岸的时候，跟我们大家都是想到，该就我暂时不会忘记了。
So you have to be kill or be killed. So if you're not aggressive enough, then you're going to be part of the statistics of being dead. I think they pushed aggressiveness on everybody.
1941年12月，日军大举入侵香港及东南亚地区，几十万盟军沦为战俘。载有1816名英军战俘的里斯本湾，从中国香港前往日本。1942年10月2日， 里斯本丸在途经中国东极岛海域时被美军击沉。
I probably spoke to 100 POWs or their families. And I can tell you, when I first interviewed the survivors, I was the first person most of them had ever talked to about it. And they felt the whole story had been forgotten. They felt all their dead friends had been completely forgotten. The reason I did that book when I wrote it mainly in 2004. I did it then because I felt if I left it too late, everybody's gone. Right. When I wrote that book, I could still talk to somebody from the American submarine, 10, 12, 20 men who were on the Lisbon Maru itself. Today, it's too late.
I do not recognize anybody here.
What's that? Lisbon Maru? What's it about?
Lisbon Maru.
No, I've not heard of it.
Why are you going around and asking people about the boats?
To me, it's all in the past.
Now he's tracking down relatives of the men who drowned by placing huge adverts in British newspapers. And it's producing results.
Western history says that the Second World War began on September 1st, 1939, with the invasion of Poland by Nazi Germany. But the Republic of China had fought Imperial Japanese aggression for a full 8 years before the first panzers rolled into Poland. And China would spend the war riven with internal strife even as they beat back the Japanese.
He got put in a boat, then he had a big knife in his hand. Oh, shit.
It's when a person experiences a situation and yet they perceive themselves as outside of it.
They're coming to rescue us! And he pulled me into his boat and he gave me some raw fish to eat and water to drink.
Somebody hauling me onto a Carly float. And I remember hanging onto that and suddenly being pulled off.
In the middle of my amazing escapist holiday, the reality of my environment hits me. Looking out the window, I see that all the shiny TWA and Air France planes are in reality nothing more than bombed out wrecks.
It's a long way to Tipperary. It's a long way to go. It's a long way to Tipperary, to the sweetest girl I know. Goodbye, Piccadilly. Farewell, Leicester Square. It's a long way to Tipperary, but my heart is right there.
And I can still hear to this day, between the yells of cries for help, was also singing. It was so loud, you could hear it in the water. That was people going down to meet their makers.
船要沉了，人要死了，得救。
不让你杀！
今天这河，我们不定。
I was swimming towards the island and I could see the rocks, and I thought to myself, how the hell am I going to get on those rocks? And the next thing I know, there's a little boat there.
And I thought, oh, it's the Japanese, but I thought, I'll welcome anybody at this stage. And suddenly, I'll never forget this voice. This Chinese voice said, "Hello, I save you." And it was a Chinese fisherman from the islands I was trying to make to.
Well, I guess he was a middle-aged man, like a fisherman.
Somebody hauling me onto a Carly float. And I remember hanging onto that and suddenly being pulled off and hauled into a Chinese fishing junk and taken ashore along with 76 other people.
Down deep in the shadows of waves, your torture lingers on. Lost souls among the deep shattered sands calls us all to home. Why is there a strangling hell in the fear of flowers?